So by the
Yeah.
time this airs, that this will be Tuesday, November
Mhm.
5th, election day. Do your civic duty, do your thing. But that's also the NFL trade deadline.
Mhm.
So are there any other pieces that you expect the Patriots to sell off, or is this just gonna? Do you think that they could actually get rid of a Kendrick Bourne or get rid of
I don't
A
think.
Dietrich Wise, which I will lose my fucking mind if they trade Wise
Why though?
because I love him. He's still young. He's not on the wrong side of 30 yet.
I feel that, but I think they're clearly in full on rebuild when it comes to the draft part. Dave and I and Bobby talked about this last week, but there's more than one way to build a team. And I understand that you want to stockpile draft picks to, you know, get more talent. I get that. At the same time, your second round picks haven't worked recently. So Thornton, Polk, just to name a few. Excuse me. Why not trade a second to go get somebody that can help you for the rest of the season, and then keep them in the building, give them an extension. They're now part of the core going forward. I can see Goshal being moved. I don't think Kendrick Bourne gets moved. I feel like KJ Osborne may end up getting moved, but that's just because of how I think he's just fallen out of favor in the locker room and with the coaching staff. But I think in the right situation, he can be a decent player. It just wasn't going to happen here. I feel like he needed. Ironically, I can see him going back to where he was just not Minnesota, but I feel like he'd be good in Atlanta and go back to him playing with him and Kirk. 'Cause I think him and Kirk had a good connection down there, and I think Drake London just got hurt, so I feel like they can use another body. So yeah, I think those are two guys I can think about that might get moved. But I don't know if they add anybody. They should add somebody, even if it's a small deal. Look to see if you can get like a fifth for or give a fifth for a lineman. I don't know, something, but they shouldn't have completely punt because, like I said, even though I didn't think they'd win more than 2 games, but if you maneuvered or found a way to get to, like you said, 6 wins, right? You're a +2 for where you were last year, wins wise. And then now you got people looking at you differently. That's what I'm looking for this year. I'm not looking for you to go 10-7 because that's not happening. I'm not looking for you to go 12-5 because that's not happening. I'm looking, do you improve on what happened last year, despite the circumstances? And can you say, hey, can you get a free agent to look at this roster and say, okay, they missed this, they missed that, they missed this, they missed that. But if you put me here, I can do this. If you put me there, I can do that. So that's what I'm looking for. And then you go to the draft and say, okay, let me get this lineman, let me get this corner, let me get this wide receiver, whatever you want to do. And another guy I forgot to bring up because you said about who could be moved. I wouldn't be surprised if they move Jonathan Jones either. I think he's probably one of the guys you can actually get something back for. So yeah, once again, I don't want to see those guys go, but at
Right.
the same time, if you don't think they could be a part of what you're doing going forward,
I mean,
then
theoretically,
it's shaky.
all they have to do is win 4 games this year for me to feel better about the team. Because if you think about this team winning the exact same amount of games without the best defensive minded coach in the history of the NFL, without Christian Barmore, without Jabril Peppers, and with the rookie head coach, like that's pretty good. That
Yeah,
shows you that the drop off was not big, which would be a big thing, a big nail in the cross for Bill.
yeah,
But I listen. Don't This team is so bad in the sense that they they need to have a top draft pick in the first couple of rounds because, as you said, like their first 6 picks should need to be linemen. They
right.
just
Yeah, no,
they need
facts,
to be.
facts. But I think for me, and I think that we've kind of spoke about this, so it doesn't hurt to revisit what I'm about to say because we've had obviously we had some of our rants recently about how it was, this is year one of the rebuild, this is, Bill's gone, Brady's gone, so on and so forth. And the question I wanted to pose to you was with them still having Mayo, even guys like Covington, and then some other guys that are still in the organization, do you think they got far enough away from the Bill era to have a fresh perspective on how to build a roster and team overall?
No, Absolutely not. That's a great question, but it's a very
Mhm,
simple answer. No, they have not, because Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft, whoever's pulling the purse strings, which I still believe is Robert Kraft,
mhm,
has have just taken the mold and like the assumption we're gonna run this team as if Bill is still the head coach,
mhm.
but he isn't. So it's the
Right,
same personnel, guys. It's
right.
it's it's. I mean, everyone wants to give credit to Elliott Wolf for drafting Drake May. You don't get credit for that. He was literally
Your
you
best
had the
player
third
available.
pick. You had the third pick and you needed a quarterback.
Right,
And he was there, right? Now, if he had taken, let's just say, I'm glad they did it, but if they had taken Penix, and Penix was the best rookie that we've seen in the last 10 years, then you get credit for thinking outside of the box. They didn't do
right.
that. Drake May was projected to go third overall. So it's real. Elliott Wolf's first pick, in my opinion, as a New England Patriot front office, was Jalen Polk. How do you do?
I mean, as of now, terrible.
Javon Baker, how do you do?
Still waiting to get people out the wheelchair.
Right. So like this,
Right.
so no, they have not. They've not gotten far away.
I
And
mean, what's the buddy that they picked in the third round? Oh God, Landon Robinson's been okay. Keenan Wallace still jury's out on him, but Landon Robinson's been okay. Trying to think who else they got last year or this year in the draft, but Landon Robinson's probably been their best pick, which is
yeah,
sad because it shouldn't be, but he's been their best pick. We're still waiting on Cole Strange to come back. Obviously, he wasn't the pick this year, but still waiting on him to come back. Maybe he
I
helps us
think
find
if
something,
if I
but
was if
yeah,
I was lucky enough to be the owner and decision maker for the New England Patriots, just as you would be, I think we'd both come to the agreement that anyone that's been in the front office in the last 5 years needs to be out. We need we
right,
need a
right.
thousand percent fresh thinkers.
Right. And that's why so now that like I said, I think you're coming around a little bit more of where I was at as to why I never fully thought it was the rebuild. Because if you still have guys that were involved in that process, they're basically clones. And they're still gonna think like the previous regime. So if you're not getting a whole brand new regime entirely, then it's still more of the same. And that's the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no fresh thinkers. There's no there's no new talent development guys. There's no Ernie Adams. There's no Dante Scarnecchia. There's no Charlie Weiss. There's no Romeo Crennel. There's no, even like we had a Brian Day. There's none of those guys coming through there. So everything needed to be uprooted. And the fact that they still chose, even though albeit they chose 5 years ago to make this happen, it was, quite frankly, it was premature on Robert Kraft's behalf. There was no
Yep.
due diligence done on getting other staff in here that could help. Once again, you could have firmly did what some other teams have done, where it's like, yo, we want you to still be around. You'll be the heir apparent, but we want you to get some other experience and get some other experienced guys in here, and then we'll give the reins to you. Once again, someone brought it up. I forget who brought it up, but like Sean McVay, first thing he did was bring in Wade Phillips. First thing he did.
Right.
Once again, didn't think he was going to take his job because of that. Brian Wade Phillips, who had been the head coach, who had been very good, had very good defenses, brought him in to get that coaching experience. And the fact that they didn't do that, and like I said, the best you could do was hiring Alex Van Pelt and then, raising up DeMarcus Covington, quite frankly, is a joke. And because some of those guys may not be here at the end of the year, you're now doing Drake May a disservice. You're doing some of the guys on defense a disservice because some of those guys may not make it past next season. And then you have to learn a whole new routine and a whole new way of doing things in the building because this current regime couldn't get the job done. So
The only
um, it's wild.
the only silver lining to that is that if they do overhaul the OC and the DC for Drake May, my hope and assumption at this point, based on how this is not working, is that they'd bring in someone that would actually script the playbook for his strengths, as
Right.
opposed to trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole.
Right. Yep. And that's the thing too. I feel like Alex Van Pelt is clearly sabotaging Drake May.
No,
Clearly.
not on purpose. I know he's not on purpose. He just doesn't have a feel for the
No, I,
game.
I
He has
think some of
no
it's on
feel.
purpose. So it's just like for look at you seen the first half. Him and Kendrick Bourne was cooking.
Yeah,
Like 2029 on Tennessee was looking like lunch meat out there. It was looking real sweet. Real sweet. Looking like rotisserie chicken out there. It was real sweet out there. And you don't running the back shoulder fade. Keep running it. He can't. The guy literally could not guard it. He literally was stuck in mud. Literally stuck in mud. So I'm just like, you don't keep going to that play, or some variation. Yeah, you don't let him run a square in. You don't let him run it up and up and out. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? 'Cause even the play on to for Hunter Henry, right? With on the interception, not Hunter Henry. It was a play to Booty at the end. There's a play, and once again, I hate to bring up a video game, but it's relevant because he's clearly looking at some Madden plays and putting it on his paper. Meaning Alex Red Pelt. There's a play at Madden called levels where you got one that runs like a 5 yard in, then a 10 yard in, 15 yard in, and then someone running the post. So Booty on that play obviously was a guy running the post. If you just have someone like Pop or someone else running across shallow, that takes the guy that ended up being the guy that doubled on Booty because he would have had to step up. So
Yep.
if that guy steps up, Drake's arm is going to get it to Booty. Booty had the inside leverage. He catches it. We're looking at touchdown New England ball game. But because of our inept play caller, can't have a guy run a certain route or play or scheme it up where someone's running a shallow cross. And it should have been a double shallow cross and then having Booty over the top of the post. So then someone you have to make a choice. So that guy makes a choice. He comes down when he should have been following Booty. Booty has the inside leverage. He catches it. It's a 40-yard gain. Now we're in business. So
Yep.
I don't know. I think to me, it's really wild that there's just certain plays that they have ran pretty well and they go away from it. And then certain things that could be schemed a different way and they just miss the boat every
Just
single time. It's unbelievable to me.
sorry to step on you there, but it just makes you think that
Nope.
that the things that we see that are going well, it's almost like that's being ad libbed by Drake.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that speaks to and shout out to Gerard Mayo for bringing this up because I love that he highlighted this about him. He said Drake does not make the same mistake twice. And we're learning that already in 4 games. So his IQ is high. His feel for the game is high. So Patriot fans alike have said on Twitter and any other platform that would let us go off, let Drake May cook. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And once again, Elizabeth Pelt, your claim to fame can be, hey, we turned this guy around and turned him into a star. And you still are getting in your own way.
Right.
That's wild.
You just know how
You
to do it.
really over platter. It's terrible. You still hitching your wagon to Jacoby or anybody else that well, listen, it's like, bro, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Like and once again, I hope that crowd says, hey, AVP, we gave you a shot. We thank you for your year. We hope that you learned something while you were here. But we wish you the best of your future endeavors. Because
Love that.
it's not working.